Dear all participants, we have our distinguished speaker, Dr. A Venkatesh with us. Welcome, sir, on the behalf of Organizing Committee of Atmanirbhar, a workshop on innovation, design thinking, and entrepreneurship. It's a one-week workshop and organized by Srinidhi Institute of Science and Technology, Hyderabad. I'm the organizing secretary, Dr. Shruti Bhargav, and associate professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication. I'll welcome you all behalf of all our participants and organizing committee. And I feel privileged to introduce you among our participants. Sir has 3 decades of teaching and 4 years of industry, served as CTO. He served as Registrar, Dean Research, Head of the Department and Principal, and published 65 papers, is co-authored as a book at Discrete Mathematics, and also authored 5-book chapter. He is a member of System Society of India, RMS, and Academy of Discrete Mathematics and Application. So the service as adjunct professor in IIIT B and a professor of maths and computer science, Myanmar Institute of Information Technology, Mandalay, Myanmar. And Sir has completed his PhD from Alagappa University, combinational optimization, and he passed his lecturership examination in 1990. Along with that, Sir is associate editor of Journal of Computational Mathematics and reviewer of many journals like Journal of Medicine, Springer Nature, lecture notes in computer science, Journal of Financial Innovation. Along with that, Sir have more than 68 publications and repute SCI and Scopus journals. Sir has many awards and recognition like Research Excellence Award by Indo-American Education Summit 2016, Top 10% author on Social Science and Research Network SSRN, by all the time downloads ranked 15541. Total number of author is 3,60,000. Among that, Sir has got 15,541 rank. Sir has developed one product also, an add-on chip for matrix multiplication, that is India's supercomputer PRAM based on of the research network. Joint work with TDEC Hardware Technology Group. Sir has provided 38 material for 19 universities in India and discrete mathematics, quantitative techniques for business, linear algebra, and all published by Vikas. Sir has visited so many countries and member of System Society of India, Ramanujam Mathematical Society, Indian Statistical Institute, Karnataka. This is all about you, sir. Thanks a lot again for giving us the opportunity to listen you. And I request you to please start the session.
Thank you, ma'am. First, my sincere apologies for being late due to an important meeting over here.
No issues, sir.
Thank you. Also, I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to share my experience, how I developed this interest. Then I'll go into my presentation. I hope everyone is able to hear me. If you look at my profile, you heard my profile. Basically, I have done mathematics. Till date, I have no title in any other branch. Because of mathematics, I was able to penetrate into computer science. When I was in Andhra Pradesh, I was considered as pure mathematician. I was working in complex analysis and topology. When I moved to Karnataka, I joined in a computer science department. Then I changed my research topic towards computing. Then somebody suggested, why not parallel computing? That's how my journey started towards computer science. With hard way, I was able to read computer architecture. That is a byproduct, which I got as a chip for matrix multiplication. So then I looked into it, why mathematics is useful, this computer science only. Then subsequently I thought, oh, finance. So I started working on finance also. So therefore I thought how I'm able to penetrate into other discipline. So hence this topic also decided interdisciplinary approach. So I have a variety of reasons to say why interdisciplinary research is important. One is our country is still conservative. If you look at, there is a professor in Louisiana State University, earlier computer science director. Now he is in Florida. He has close to 2,000 odd research papers. Basically, his PhD is in mechanical engineering. In USA, he is known as, even today, he is known as computer science professor only. So it is possible in the Western country from one discipline to another discipline, whereas in our place, it is not possible. Even I have all these papers. If I come an engineering college to teach computer science, probably I may teach well. They'll ask, do you have any qualification? So interdisciplinary research level, it is some extent accepted because the paper counts for the management and as well as the regulatories. But it is not developed as a concept or as an idea in our country. Therefore, I thought, let me try out certain things which is possible from my end so that you also can do something. We can talk about that. Whereas in the US, interdisciplinary is order of the day. They are practicing, I can say, more than 2 decades. They never ask you, what is your master's degree? What you have done in undergraduate? What is your research work the last 2 years? That's how they decide, or you fit into particular department or a branch. So whereas we are not developed. So we have to talk about what is interdisciplinary research, why it is popular, why it is not taking a right shape in our country. So at the end, I'll talk something about some of my areas as a case study. That's what I have. I'll share my presentation now. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, right. So this is what, so as I said, you know that Srinidhi Educational Group of Institution organized this one. I'm from this place. So I just given what is my background, why should I selected this topic also? It is in my heart. I have only one thing in mind. If any notation similar to including sigma, I feel it is mathematics. So that's how I'm able to do it. Probably you, if you see your subject, you feel that affinity, you will work on that area. So there are certain fundamental questions we have to talk about that, as well as when we raise the questions, it is my duty to give certain definitions towards that. Then what are the success stories of interdisciplinary research, and what are the drivers need to create interdisciplinary research as an important discipline in our country also. As I said, I'll end with this one. So many of us know interdisciplinary, they immediately will think it of, oh, it is clubbing of more than one branch or 2 subjects like that. Is it the thing? Then what is multidisciplinary? What is cross-disciplinary? What is transdisciplinary? That's supposed to be addressed. Looks same. At times we can use interchangeably, but everything has a definite border. So earlier occasion when I was doing my MSc, my professor used to say there is not much difference between physics and mathematics. If you are good at mathematics, you can do physics. I could not understand during my master's and or MPhil time, but little later we understood, so able to do that. What is multidisciplinary? What is cross-disciplinary? What is transdisciplinary? So this is a slightly confusing terms. The transdisciplinary, in a nutshell, one can say it's a unity of knowledge. Everything put together boils down. That is what transdisciplinary. So the multidisciplinary and cross-disciplinary, we can understand. Multidisciplinary, I'll club more subject. Cross-disciplinary, I can put from one science to other science I can go. Is it the way we are going to talk about that? The precise definition borrowed from papers and books is multidisciplinary activity draw upon insights from 2 or more disciplines. The difference between multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary is we'll draw from whatever required, we draw from various sciences, we won't integrate it. So that's what I meant. Unlike interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary activity, we won't integrate it. So therefore, we do work and we part. So we respect people, we do all those things, but not taking the byproduct. So therefore, very important, you should look at this way. So one more thing is also in this occasion, the research as well as the innovation, it cannot be, we can start and do, it is not, it should be our regular routine work then all this are possible. So if you look at that, the most of the innovation is not happened just like that. I wanted to invent this, therefore I'm doing it. We do something, in the process we may get something that we call it as innovation or whatever it is possible. So the same way, the cross-disciplinary is also, we are going to talk about more or two disciplines are required. So it may have that, I said, suppose I'm good at commerce, I want to work certain things, I need data analysis, I may not have a power to analyze my data, then what I'll do, I'll call a statistical person or who knows statistics well. We do that tool and borrow it, we'll complete it. After that, we won't look at why did I do this analysis. So that is a place we need. Important part is interdisciplinary. As I said, transdisciplinary is unity of knowledge. So how you define it, that is very important. Definition can vary from one person to one person. So till 1998, there is no proper acceptable definition for interdisciplinary also. Clint and Newell defined interdisciplinary is a process of answering of a question, solving a problem, or addressing a topic which cannot be addressed by a single subject, so or a single profession. So the problem can from industry or come from the national research labs, anywhere, how to address it. So that is a place, the interdisciplinary, this is universally accepted. A refined term, little later it has come from the National Academics of USA. So it's a mode of research by teams or individuals or group of individuals. They have to integrate the information, data, techniques, tools, whatever it is. When you are doing this way, what is the theory behind from each subject? What is the basic concept is sitting over there? So therefore, we need a specialized person who can help us to understand that concept. With the help of him, we can solve that problem. And sometimes when we are solving it, it could be a birth of a new discipline also. So that's supposed to be, we have to consider as interdisciplinary, not just doing some joint work from two different discipline persons. So can I create a new discipline? Yes, it is possible. Then it is, yes, it is truly called as interdisciplinary research. So what are the key components of interdisciplinary research? If you look at that, the persons who are involved in this research, as I said, the discipline itself, IDR itself, focusing on a particular problem, which are complex, should be answered satisfactorily. So it is, we cannot solve with one subject, then how we can address with the help of others. So when you say that way, everyone should good at their subject. The other person, the other subject expert, when you are joining with him, you should respect your domain as well as you have to respect his domain. Then based on that, you should create a common guiding principle. Yes, this is what the theories and methods I'll be using from my concept, my sub-discipline. You accept this, then we can work more precisely. So once you say that way, so we'll get a lot of ideas as well as you can see that. Then once you've done that one, everybody has to evaluate the results of specialized research. Is it possible? Did I get what I expected? Can I get the same result without collaborating with the other science? If it is yes, it is not interdisciplinary. You have to evaluate, is it really the combination of other discipline? If it is yes, it's an interdisciplinary research only. So when you talk about this, I said you have to look at multiple theories, multiple methods, whichever borrow from the other discipline. And when you to borrow it, there are certain things you cannot do well, because there are certain basic assumptions for a theory may not suit that. So that weakness one has to consider. There are some potential weakness like this. So some basic assumption may not be there. Can I relax? When I relax it, how much the theory is going to get affected in the other discipline? You should have that idea. Then you can go for it. Yes, there's a limitation to overcome. This a relaxation has been given. So then solve the problem. We'll get a nice results. So as I earlier pointed out, everyone's supposed to appreciate the other discipline. So obviously you should not see my discipline as better than yours. Because of me, you are able to get. So the very best example today, IDR, is big data analytics. So big data analytics, it has its own different domain. But if you look at that, you can see analytics is attached with every domain. HR analytics, financial analytics, anything you say, analytics is coming into picture. So this is the marriage today happened, the confluence, how it has happened only with respect to one particular analytics because of the data. So is it then, what is earlier research about interdisciplinary, or do we have anything else? You just ponder upon that, you will get a lot of things. So you have to see, that's what I put over here. So these are the subjects we know. If you know mathematics, I can do physics, I can do mathematical chemistry or chemistry, wherever the equation comes over there, how to balance the equations. And the biological studies also, we need mathematics. Taxonomy itself born from mathematics. If you go back to the taxonomy concept, how it has been created. Interestingly, the taxonomy, what we are talking about taxonomy, you might be knowing in the botany as well as zoology, classification of plants. If you look at that, the segmentation. Today, in the other discipline, we are calling segmentation is the order of the day. I'm using machine learning to segment this. So many things. But look at that taxonomy. From the taxonomy, if you go beyond that, you can see that the mathematical background helped to develop the taxonomy. So the same way, psychology, everywhere, mathematics works and play a role. These are known to us. So in the similar scenario, if you look at that, how the cancer studies has been started, is it only the medical people started? Biochemistry people join with them. So pathology people join with them. Then the cancer research grown like anything to eradicate cancer. Still it is not done, but that's what the power of interdisciplinary research. So it is life-saving, or it could be a new models can be created with interdisciplinary. This is known to us. Just I want to recollect what are the things. So this is one slide. I just wanted to say, yes, mathematics helps everywhere. Therefore, I can say, I know mathematics, therefore I can go to physics, chemistry. Only mathematician can do this question. This is what 20 years ago or 30 years before, mathematics people can do economics, psychology, biology, chemistry, physics, but not the other way. Little later, 10 years ago, everything became computational. If you look at that, computational chemistry, computational biology, everybody started talking about computational. Therefore, the power is only lying with the computer science. So this is, once again, I put the same in a different way. But the reality is mathematics, computer science, it's computer science one way. If you look at that, it's offshoot of mathematics and physics. So obviously mathematics is the reality which is required to model any problem to solve it. So fundamentally, you have to ask why this is required, when it is required, by whom it is used. All those things question can be addressed. So this is in reality. Still, if you go further, I said physics to economics, is it possible? Biology to psychology is possible. Yes. So today, psychology is talking about neurocomputing, biology also talking about psychology, behavioral science, brain computing, where you have to place them. So is it not an interdisciplinary research? Yes. So one has to look into that way, where I can contribute, which branch could be ideal to me. So one has to define, then they can do a nice job towards this part. So again, I go back to this. So this is what the subjects known to us. Can you imagine what else is possible? There is something called as molecular biology. So molecular biology, master's level, PhD level, available in India itself. IISc has master's program as well as a PhD program. They say eligibility condition, MSc mathematics, MSc biology, or zoology, or medicine. So interdisciplinary research taking place in a very few institutes, not with everyone, every institute. So we got autonomy. Can we introduce new program? Obviously, it is not possible, but we can create some courses which is the confluence of 2 or 3 subjects. So instead of just calling from mathematics, there is a classical example I have to say here. There is a course in most of the computer science program, undergraduate level, called as discrete mathematics. Why I'm remembering this part is, since I'm good at this course, I'm not saying only because of that reason. Discrete mathematics, there was a conversation or contradiction, big war was going in Karnataka. Who's supposed to teach? Mathematics department or computer science department? So there is a technological university like in Telangana, Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University, in Andhra Pradesh, we have some, Karnataka, we have Vishwesvaraya Technological University. All computer science people said only computer science people will teach this course. So they organized a faculty development program. They invited me and other mathematicians. Then we told them it's supposed to be taught by those who know the applications of discrete mathematics and computer science. Then it is easy. The students will understand. If computer science people come and teach this course, they will talk only about how computational way. Mathematician will go and teach in the mathematical way. The essence of introducing discrete mathematics will be lost. So one good classical example, the last program in our country is Master of Computer Applications. When they started this Master of Computer Application, then famous computer science professor in our country is Dr. V. Rajaraman. Under his head, committee formed and they created MCA. If you look at that, what happened today, no takers, they wanted to place at the project or team lead level in the industry. Unfortunately, the dilution and there is no people who can teach precisely, the program is almost dead. So we created one such beautiful course, but lost its beauty. We'll believe it will revive or something will happen. When you start interdisciplinary courses like this, what is the eligibility condition they created in this country? They said at +2 level, either you have studied mathematics or electronics or computer science, you are eligible, not at the graduate level. So everything is good, but because of non-availability of real good faculty who can deliver this the program, so that is one of these things. So interdisciplinary research is not that one, but I'm saying whatever the initiative started by some previous people, it could not survive. So now we have to look at interdisciplinary research as a sustainable one. So therefore, as a faculty member, we can create that. That is what my interest, and I'm urging all of us to work towards that. So that is a truth. If you look at that, everything is philosophy. If you say whether truth or false, it's a perception of an individual. So therefore, philosophy is overruling. Still, if you go beyond that, if you look at the philosophy as a course at the MA level or the MPhil level, the logic plays a major role. Therefore, there is a very minute boundary between mathematics and philosophy. Our teacher used to say, if you are good at mathematics, you are good at philosophy. So all those things are, you have to listen them. Is it true? Ask yourself, then start reading it. Then you will understand, yes. Once you understand that part, it is easy to migrate from philosophy to mathematics or mathematics to philosophy, then come back to physics or chemistry, which is easy. If you look at that in Bombay IIT, there is a particular center works on Sanskrit-based science. So they talk about everything from the Sanskrit. They say the sciences already exist. They proved a lot of things. So in French, there is an university. They are offering, there is a lab called a Sanskrit lab. So because of the computational power, they have certain things. Why Sanskrit is good for computer science or computer programming language? We mistook it is for programming language. Under natural language processing, when you do natural language processing, you know the ambiguous in English. So when that Tom Chomsky, who developed this kind of tool, and he said, when we use the same thing in Sanskrit, the ambiguous is much minimal. Therefore, Sanskrit is the good for computers. That's how he made a statement. Noam Chomsky written more than 19 books. If you read it, you can see, I'm a linguistic person or a computer science person. You cannot differentiate. Those who are in computer science, there is a course, nice course, Introduction to Formal Languages. So it talks about how the computer language generated, how the structure is created. So if you compare with this, your own mother tongue, grammatical sentences, grammar and other things, you will understand, oh, this is the way we develop it. So that bridge is needed when you teach this kind of courses. So therefore, one's supposed to enjoy the course, then you can understand what is the other subject behind it. So still I'm talking about unidirectional. Psychology to philosophy to physics, physics to chemistry, no such links. But the interdisciplinary research is supposed to be bi-directional one. So that's what I spoke already, computer science is the thing. So once it is, now you look at this, cognitive science is another big area is coming into picture. So what is that cognitive science? So in a Sanskrit way, if you look at that way, Tarkashastra. So one has to, so Tarkashastra, is it cognitive science? Is it a data mining? Yes, answer goes in a different direction. So everywhere. So that is, if you understood everything is cognitive science, then obviously 5 Ws can be defined. If you're able to answer this, one can penetrate to the other subjects also, which is possible. One has to take a nice, interesting case. When you walk, what and all you are observing, what else you have seen, if there is a difference yesterday to today. If you are able to identify that, you are understanding the environment. Once environment, then it gives the urban structure as there is a change in the buildings are come up. So this thought process can be captured in terms of computational science. Yes, possible. So that's what we are looking at. Now, let's see bidirectional now I put. So it should be bidirectional, not unidirectional. So very important thing, you have to do that. Earlier studies things, if you are even today in engineering college, there is something called as environmental engineering. What is environmental engineering? So if you look at that, are we going to talk about only environmental engineering? Are they not from civil? Are they not from sociology problems? So everything is interdisciplinary. So only way is interdisciplinary, nothing is isolated. So one has to look at that. This all traditional ones, what we have seeing this pictures, you can see after that also. Idea and understanding. You look at this, are you able to see the picture well? Are you able to see the picture? Yes, I'll continue it. Interdisciplinary research can be one of the most productive and inspiring of human pursuits, one that provide format for conversation, connection that lead to a new knowledge. So what is this picture talks about that? If you're able to read, I'm reading on behalf of you, I'm on the verge of a major breakthrough. A scientist says, almost completed the breakthrough, but I'm also at the point where chemistry leaves off and physics begins. So what is the meaning of this? So if you isolated where you work, you will get some breakthrough, but you need some physics concepts. You are not there. So therefore, it is important to understand before starting a problem, what is its nature? How can I identify? Yes, it is tough. Once you start solving it, at least halfway, you can see what the qualities are required. Do I have a strength? In the sense, do I have does not mean that as a person, as my subject. So do I have a strength? So can I include somebody else? It has to be decided. Once you decide that, that is a place it starts. So once you know that, we can do. So you look at the difference between multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. So multidisciplinary is just join together to work on a common problem, then disappear. Whenever you need, you may join. Whereas interdisciplinary is we are joining from the beginning. The question is raised when you are addressing the problem, we are together, and after that, that interaction or that result will create a new discipline of science or whatever it is, engineering or whatever it is. So this is, if you look at that, production people started working on performance. So parallel production efficiency is in every field today. So these are known to you. I just throw certain things to only 2 + 1. I'll talk about that. This is microwave radar at MIIT Radiation Laboratory. They started. When they deployed during the World War II, 4,000 people were deployed in different continents. It was implemented by a red lab. The success factor is known to you. If you go to that site, you can see that. So as I said, National Cancer Research Laboratory started with many people. Then, you know, the Philips electronics equipments. Did they start? What was the origin of the, which was the original product of Philips? Anybody can say? You can just type it. Okay, I'll tell you the Philips started with electric bulb. Are they into electric bulb? So now, if you look at that, I written that also. They started with the light bulb, then slowly moved Now we have electronics, medical equipments, we have electronics, Philips electronics, whatnot. Everything is with them. So everybody journey started something. Then based on their research, they diversified. So electrical, electronics, then medical equipment. What is medical electronics? So they should know minimum of medicine, how that results should be inferred and all those things. Everything is getting automated. So there's that last slide about the IDR part is concerned. So what is this? So there is a workshop. Workshop is what was the workshop? So what they are asking, we need system analysis. From which lab? Solid state physics. So solid state physics also needs system analysis. So therefore, order of the day is working together, creating a new knowledge in a new domain. That is the order of the day. So we need this kind of things. So in order to develop this, what is required? How many of our autonomous institutes offer, say, other than mandated by government norms? Our engineering education, we say this many credits supposed to be liberal arts. This many credits supposed to be from the open electives, open disciplines, and this many from humanities. So these are the basic norms. Do we created new things? So for example, as an electronics person, can I study music? Can I study painting? Is it not? It is not interdisciplinary. Still, it is open elective. Suppose I'm interested. So some universities offering something called as engineering economics. Are they really talking about engineering economics? Only the title is engineering economics, but the syllabus is either a micro or macro economics, or the business environment is put inside rather than real interdisciplinary research. So interdisciplinary subjects. What else can be given a thought? So if you look at that as an electronics person, which is something away from that. So can you do something on electronics and anything else? You have to figure out other than the routine one. So as a mathematician, I'll say I can talk about something on finance, something on management, but what is you have to decide how to convince your board of studies, and is it going to give us so isolated way that also cannot be done. So you have to interact with your industry or whichever the companies wanted certain things. Electronics person supposed to know some HR. Can you create something like that? That is also need basis, which is not real interdisciplinary. So we have to think it of that one. In order to that, our institute supposed to create some policies. Out of this many credits, to graduate 200 credits, give 2 credits to start with for interdisciplinary subject, not from other branch, which is common to both. So then, or if you, the best place I can tell you, most of us or few of us might have been appeared for DRDO, BARC, or BSNL examination after graduation. Nowadays, there is no examination. It is based on GATE. GATE can be written by mechanical. GATE can be written by any engineering, any MSc, mathematics, physics, chemistry. But how they are able to do the job in BSNL or DRDO? Is it there is something called as mathematics? Something is called as computer science? Nothing. When they are able to work interdisciplinary at the workplace, why can't we bring this to academic world? That is what the need of the hour. So what we have to do? So we have to talk to them. Can I train physics people in electronic exchange? So can this person learn about solid state physics? So this kind of things, the industry as well as the government labs and non-government organization can give an insight. Based on that, our autonomous institution as well as the university is supposed to create such courses. Then who will teach? That's the next part of the management will ask. One of you pioneer in it. So you start the initiative, you meet the people, come out of the course, create a nice course, which is the lab, if you want lab based or it is theoretical, please decide it. If it is lab based, another question will be asked, how to set up the lab. So when you are interacting with this industry, they may allow, instead of full-fledged lab, they'll say sometime your student can come in a semester, 2 days. At least give that component so that the students will have some kind of hands-on experience. So without this, innovation is slightly tough. In one field, getting innovation is tough. So ICT is one as Like that, it has come integration of many things. So if you look at this, so in order to do that, you have to create new policies. Suppose somebody worked on innovative things, how much benefit I'll get as a human will ask at the end of the day, what I'm going to take away from this by doing this extra work. Instead of that, some kind of things. So this is supposed to be recorded, not only the policy, what is your experience, so that you can guide the next level of faculty members to do this. So is there any possible way as a faculty, can I go and work for 2 months with the national labs? Or answer is still yes. There are certain laboratories always available summer program. So the scientists are available. You have to identify one such institute in Bangalore is Center for Fourth Paradigm Institute. Other than academic world, I'm talking about a research organization, national importance organization, CSIR lab. It is also one of the CSIR lab. So similarly, you have to explore so that if you go to the lab, you will understand the real problem, come back, create certain new courses based on that, so that the future generation will get. So the moment you start it, where we are going to introduce the graduates or the undergraduates or the researchers only. If you give to researchers alone, this is going to be confined to 2 or 3 people. One is the research guide, one could be the other discipline person, and the researcher. So you should go to the at least the master's level, then only we can have. So the moment you start master's level some electives, can I do it for undergraduates also, little lesser weightage? So look at that. So this is supposed to be mapped so that it will happen. So that's what the last point I said. So the flexible budget. So when you do some innovation or some kind of things, what is the benefit? What is it? Suppose, can I do consultancy assignment with this kind of things? Yes, possible. The management is supposed to come forward to support us, then it is possible. The same way, nowadays funding agencies, especially DST, is doing a lot. Unlike earlier years, we have to write many times. Now DST is open, and apart from that, every state got its own science and technology. So funding is possible. Variety of places. They also supposed to promote this. Until they promote, management may not agree upon certain level. However, it is possible to. This is mainly for the funding agencies. Suppose I want to start my interdisciplinary setup in my organization. Is it possible? 15 years before, other than IITs and other than national institutes of national importance of institutes like IIT, IIC, no other places we heard some term called as Center for Excellence in something. So when you start Center for Excellence in soft computing, is it only one branch is going to work? No. So obviously many teams. So this is what the leader is the right candidate. If you choose a leader in the right person, he will interact with industry, governmental research labs. He will bring a lot of people towards our organization. Then if it is not only people, he may get some open problem, not really open problem. It is a research problem, which we can take it up. We can solve from academic to industry or academic to the governmental research labs. So this is possible. So that is the place the management has to concentrate how to bring such a person. If you are able to bring, it is good, then we can do. The funding, obviously, when the funding is happening, now there are 2 issues the funding is concerned. Most of us will get funding, will do some work. I'm not putting you down, I'm sorry. With due respect, I respect most of the funding, especially mathematics is concerned. We end up with 2 research papers or 1 research paper or 3 research papers. Nothing is happening beyond that. So this is the place the DST or whatever the funding agency is supposed to take care of that. What is the benefit out of this to the society? On this academic world, yes, research is required. Is there any benefit? There are certain percentage. I'm not saying everything is supposed to be benefit to the society. Our mathematician Srinivasan Raman's work is applicable today. How many years later? It is possible. At least 20% of the work is supposed to go towards the societal problems. Then the interdisciplinary nature can grow. That is one of the important part. And once the funding is done, evaluation, yes, The review committee comes and goes. We know how the review committee works and all those things. The review committee is supposed to give criticism in the both direction. That will make us to work really in a better way. If necessary, you have to redesign entire work, reformulate your problem. That critical report is important. In most of the cases, it is missing. They say your deadline is not met. You are not completed this work, satisfactory this. Instead of that, most of us, those who are coming as a review committee member, they are subject expert, but little more they have to do homework. So that is possible. So similarly, we have open day in India. So February, I'm not sure about the date. Similarly, academic institute also supposed to put something as open day. This is my research work. I can explain to anyone. That also can be given a thought. Then it would be a better place to create that environment. So in addition to this, do we have any society which works on interdisciplinary way? If not, why not we create one? That's supposed to be most important. The moment the society is created, society is not just to conduct conferences, regular meetings. It's supposed to be in the real mechanism. Real collaboration work can take place. So that is a place you can get. There are times I visited a couple of universities, asked certain questions. I could not get the answer. They said, please go and meet some so-and-so. I started from somewhere. I went up to Tejpur in Assam. Still, I'm remembering Professor Bhattacharya, who happened to be the first Vice Chancellor. He agreed, but he could not because of his work. So like that, one is we have to search for it. The other one is how to create an opportunity. So the Academy of Discrete Mathematics born the same way. Started asking questions, meeting people. Then finally we decided, I have to say this part, even though I was the founding secretary, when I conducted certain meetings, weekly meetings, only industry came. Today, somebody, Professor Chandrasekhar is conducting, it crossed 104 weeks or 5 weeks. Every weekend, they meet, discuss. What I'm saying is the healthy discussion is important for any kind of research. If it is not happening regular intervals, it is just like that. We'll do our research, we'll get papers, but may not be beneficial to the society as well as to the stakeholders. Our research papers, are we in a position to discuss with our students? So one thing, they are not reached that level. How many papers? That is a mandatory requirement from NBA and NAC. How many graduate students writing papers along with the faculty members? All in all, but it should be better way. They should actively involve with us, then it can happen. So this is one of the important parts as a faculty members we have to do, other than looking at IDR as a program. So now I also written evaluation of IDR, that is based on the investor or funding agency as well as the bylaws, whatever you created, based on that supposed to be done. So obviously expectation is IDR should be addressed at least one societal problem. That is important. It should be across the discipline, and you have to prove that it cannot be done without this particular discipline the other way also. So if it is done, we are in IDR. So as I said, I'll be talking about one case study. So for any questions, I'll have a small 2 minutes break. Any questions?
Yeah, any question? Sir, how technology can be appropriately used in the bone of country, that is agriculture industry?
Okay. Interestingly, this question is also one of my research work. If you look at that, we use digital image processing for identification of diseases in the plants. That is one. The other thing is, you might heard about IoT. They are putting many places collect the data. Based on that, they are warning the farmers to do certain things. I had a proposal in my mind, I could not write it. So today IoT, all those things are there for the benefit of others also. I'm sharing, anyone can write, it's a good thing. Once we create a soil, and we are able to identify the water level and everything, we can create an expert system to advise the farmers what kind of crops can be cultivated in that region. That is possible. There is no such tool available. By experience, by practice, by heritage. First 2 times I do paddy. Third time I do some crops like durdal or urdal, like that. So that is what by heritage, whatever my ancestor did, I'm doing it. Since academic institutes, we can go to that direction. We can develop such expert system. It can be an app or it can be anything. You can charge nominally. If it is a small farmer, you can charge first you can ask how many acres he has. Based on that, you can charge him 100 rupees or 1000 rupees depending on that. So that is one. And apart from that, there is another thing also. I don't think it is came well in our country, called as corporate farming. Cooperative way farming, everything is available. They divide the land in various places. Depending on that, they'll create it and they do. So many such initiatives taken by individuals, but it's not, they could not succeed in their mission. Yeah. And I've seen papers predicting rainfalls. That is not the right one. I'm talking about creating an expert system for farmers. What are the inputs are required? Definitely, I don't know. You have to sit with an agricultural person and agricultural university professor and say, this is my area. Probably I say Rangareddy district, Adilabad district. If you look at Adilabad district, what we have, mainly we have cotton. So is the only crop can grow in cotton? We never questioned it. So this is the place as an academician we can step into and we can identify, is it right for crop, this cotton crop only or not? So technology can use that. Is it clear? Am I
Yeah.
answering your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, yeah, system has to design model which understand the farmer needs.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
what ECT, sir? Someone is asking what ECT.
Okay, that is etc. I mentioned it by one of the slides. It may be in the typo error. It is ETC.
Yes, sir.
Etc.
Okay, sir. Please
Yes.
carry on. Continue, sir.
This is, I'm going to talk about one more small case study I said, performance measure. So forget about the slide. I'll ask a fundamental question. As a parent, how do you decide which school is best for your child? Any answers? Any particular scientific way? Can you define certain parameters? Shruti ma'am?
Yeah, I request. Yeah, no one answered, sir.
Okay, right. See, that is the place. Now we have to ask this kind of question only. When I'm an academician, I know many things. How to identify which hospital I have to take my parent. God's sake, no one should get such disease. For example, cardiac problem. So we go with the fame, or my friend's father got treated. I heard that the hospital is good. Some kind of parameter. Do we have any scientific method? Answer is yes. So the model, what I'm going to talk about is, you can define your input and output. It is not necessarily one has to follow, this is my input and this is my output. There is no rigid mechanism. Suppose if you want to have a cup of coffee, you will have your own parameter. If I go to that particular shop, the coffee is out of filter coffee, therefore I go there. Somebody will say that place is not hot. So the preferences vary, therefore the input and output also vary person to person, even though the same thing we want to measure. So here, performance of bank I've taken up because I'm working in the banking sector to measure the performance, especially with respect to off-balance sheet items. So therefore, I want to talk about this part. Banking is a subject in commerce. Some extent, it is in management also. They have certain ratio analysis. Based on that, they will say the performance of bank is really good. not to worry, I can do certain things. So this is the way. Now, the another way we deploy is optimization techniques. So the foundation, the base for this optimization techniques with respect to this performance study is linear programming problem. Most of us might have studied linear programming problem. So any n number of problems can be solved. See, there is a nice paper, I cannot recollect the author name. They were trying to identify donors for the kidney as well as need of the hour. How fast I can transport so that the receiver will get the kidney and all those things. It's a real complex problem. They solved with the help of LPP. So look at the power of interdisciplinary. So there is a this side, this continent, some donors are available. This continent, some people rarely require kidney transplant is supposed to happen, but how to transport, whom we have to give all those things with all medical things. So medicine, and as an LPP problem, they solved it. So this kind of problems also, I'm not going to talk about SCM part. There is also a lot of models. Project management, entire project management can be converted as an LPP, that is known to us. So as I asked, is it a commerce or a management or both? So how the interdisciplinary can come into picture? So those who are not familiar with this concept called as data envelopment analysis. So this is the tool we used in banking. We used in the cloud service provider selection also. So you name an industry, you want to find out who is good. Now this is the different way. If you look at that way, banking is totally different. CSP, cloud service provider, if you take as an example, you look for many parameters as a user. You want to put platform as a service or infrastructure as a service. So whatever it is your need, why do you want to host over there? So you have certain parameters. Then there is something called as SMI attributes. So there also I can pull out some data and identify as per my need, who is the best one. So it is a decision model which can be created and scientifically proved that based on this model, it's good. So in general, efficiency is nothing but ratio between outputs and inputs. So once you say this is the thing, how we can convert this? Suppose you have multiple inputs and multiple outputs. So this can be written as an equation. So that's why I put my objective for LPP is always single objective function. Set of constraints and a non-negative restriction constitutes an LPP. So based on that, so I created a model. Now I said it's a linear programming problem. My equation is supposed to be linear equation. Here you look at this, the first equation max u comma v z, that is with respect to u and v. You are the outputs, we are the input. So yi's are the outputs or xi are the inputs. Ui are the what kind of quantity we are supposed to produce. This yet to be identified. Looks like a rational number ratio, but fractional part we cannot solve. There is something called as fractional cut to solve a integer programming problem. Here it is a fraction, so there is no things. It's supposed to be converted. So it's very easy way to convert it. Multiply the constraints to the right hand side, bring it to left hand side with minus sign. All the constraints which be less than or equal to 0, we can get it. We have to find out. So suppose you have, you go to the slide that is easier. So this is converted in the standard form, then solving is possible. So when you want to, okay, I'll go back, I'll come to the slide after this. Suppose you have, look at this example. I have a chain of restaurant. Today, order of the day is chain of anything. If it is only one standalone shop, your market value is much lesser than chain of stores. It could be textile or it could be restaurant, all such things. So order of the day, therefore, a chain of restaurant is available. The promoter want to find out measurement, performance of each and every branch. So his input may be different. He may say total number of employees and the space, or it could be the rental, what is the volume of business, customer satisfaction, how many customers are coming back, that is some percentage. That can be an output. So that is the reason I said will be this input and output are defined by the man who or the person who is measuring the performance. It is not common. So it is one of the such example. So when I have this, I call DMU1, DMU3, this all the branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. So I'll assume that branch 1 is good. Based on that, how the relative performance of the other two. Next time, I'll assume that DM2 is good. How is the relative performance of DM1 and DM2 with respect to DM2 similarly? So I have to solve 3 LPP model based on this small thing. So when I go this way, I'll have an LPP forms like this. So you're able to see there are 3 LPP models. If I solve, I get the efficiency. Here, a lot of things you're supposed to know when you're solving this. There is something called as, it's a ratio of output by input. I want to maximize my efficiency. One way is, if I make my denominator to 1, my output is maximized. That is one way. So other way is, if I minimize my input little, my output is also, denominator is getting less. So obviously I'm going to get, so therefore we talk about input oriented, output oriented DEA models. What is input oriented? I give a fixed input. Can I maximize my output? Yeah, vice versa. The other way, my outputs are fixed. Can I minimize my input? So these are the two basic models, whether it is input oriented or output oriented. Then from the elasticity of scales, from the economics point of view, we have something called as return to scale. So those who are in finance, they know something called as efficient frontier. Here also we can create a frontier, or industrial engineering people are also aware of the frontiers. So I have a frontier. At different point of times, my things is going to be scale linearly. If x comma y, after t times, it should be tx and ty, then it is called as constant return scale. Otherwise, it is called as variable return scale. So we have basically input oriented, output oriented, then we have return scale. Based on that, all the combinations are possible. Input oriented, variable return scale, input oriented, constant return scale, then we have output oriented, variable return scale, as well as output oriented, constant return scale. This is one. The DA literature is vast. There is something called as predisposable. This is 1963 CCR, Johns Road, and they created the model. The convexity was missing. That has been modified later by bankers and others. So that is BCC model. We have that variety of models, fuzzy DA. More than 15 DA models are available. One has to look into it. If the data is a panel data, then instead of DA alone, I can do Malcolmist index. So the literature is good. So all talks about performance. So this is one side. This all comes under not only LPP. There is another thing model called as multi-criteria decision-making models. So this is one of the multi-criteria decision-making models. Analytical hierarchy processing, TOPSES, Electri, then Vigor, so many models. So all these models are useful to study performance according to our domain. So we used DEA model. So when you look at this way, that is what we did in 2017. So 27 earlier it was before merging of all the banks. We had 27 banks. So there are certain inputs we selected: cash in hand, money at call at short notice, advances, investment in India, and outputs are interest rate, interest income, and business per employee. These are the inputs we have taken it. Now, as a mathematician, I don't know what is cash in hand, money at call at short notice. After 1 year of working with my co-author, I was able to understand at least 60% even today. So even when I have a doubt, I have to refer that person only. So therefore, the understanding of the other discipline thing is also important. I cannot say because of mathematics, I'm able to analyze it, therefore you listen me. It is not the case. So this is very important to understand the importance of inputs and outputs. Without that, I cannot do. So this is, we have used performance of banks. All the data is available. This data is freely available. One can download from RBI website called as statistical table related to banking in India, STRBI tables popularly. It is called as STRBI tables. From there, what data you want, you collect it. Then we did this part. So here You look at this table shows about bank names, VRS, CRS, that same N. All the 27 we ranked. Here, there are certain things are called as 111. There are certain things are like this. If you want to call any particular bank or any DMU is efficient, fully efficient, the efficiency score is supposed to be 1. If it is not 1, it is inefficient. So suppose, imagine this scenario, instead of individual banks, I'm identifying the performance of my own commercial establishment it has branches, branch performance. How to learn a lesson from the fully efficient things. So that is a place we use the Slack's model. The Slack is in a loose way, I can define Slack as a unused resources. So if you are familiar with LPP, linear programming, then you have a lot of things, sensitive analysis, one can look into it. Then how can I modify the structure? So all inputs. So there are 6 papers available, how to infer the results of an LPP. So that one has to read. So the same way here also you have to do that. So this is one of the models we did. We used R, the open source tool R. There's a package called as benchmarking. We use that, 2 lines of code gives the result. So identification of tool is also important. Once you identify it, then you can do it this way. This is a small case study takeaway for our colleagues or contemporaries across the place. So just I wanted to know, as a person, I'm working in a department, my department has 12 people. How I'm performing among my colleagues, I can measure it. So some kind of input and output, I decided it, you do it, then do you have to work more, or you're not performing, or you are performing extremely well, you can analyze it. So this is what a small case study. I put all my references for you. This book is really good book. One can look at that. And there is a website I put, that is a sites google.com, Canada website, talks about most of the things. They formed a group called as BBC. That group approves the interdisciplinary research in that geographical location. So they have a nice group. Interestingly, many places we can share our thoughts. One of the places, analytics side, only thing is you analyze everything, you can publish it, possible. Everything is available. We have to explore where it is available. How can I pull it out? All those things are possible. There is something called as open wall, which you can pull out a lot of journal articles. Just search in Google open wall, you'll get many journal articles at free of cost. I'm sincerely thanking all people listening to me. I'm open for questions.
Yes, sir. So the question here is, American system of studies emphasizes on interdisciplinary research. How about AICTE, UGC and higher education system in India? How much is the significance of interdisciplinary research in our system?
Okay, I'll ask a fundamental question once again to academic colleagues over here. In the non-science research or technological research, most of us will expect something called as testing of hypothesis.
Yes.
Is it essential? Is it
Yes.
needed for every question, every research problem they are taken up? Answer is no. We are following some structure that's supposed to be broken. Number 2, in our place, a research supervisor is one person. In US, it's a committee. There is no need of sending to third person to evaluate the research. The thesis evaluated internally. So that kind of system. The other side, if you look at that, this is one of the things. And you asked about academic regulatory bodies, UGC, AICTE. See, still we have, there are many of, most of our institutes are affiliated to or supposed to follow AICTE guidelines. But how many private universities and deemed universities are available in our place? Autonomy is with us. Are we ready to take the challenge? We are open for it. Even UGC says, if you want to introduce a new title instead of MBA, I want to call MITE, one can go to UGC and make a presentation and convince them they are open for it. The openness came into our regulatory bodies also now, not like yesteryears. So obviously, you can explore the possibility. So slowly, now it should be, one has to come forward, yes, introduce that, then definitely possible. ACT is still flexible only. It is not totally closed. They may ask you what percentage. As you rightly said, they have certain rules and regulations because of variety of reasons. I cannot say that is correct or wrong. The simplest example is I may not be permitted to teach in computer science at master's level. Probably yes for undergraduate, irrespective of my knowledge and other things. So whereas there are institutes like IIITB said agreed. So that change is happening. One interesting thing, way back in '93, there is a mathematician, did PhD in economics, working in economics department only for 6 months. The university sent a notice to him, sorry, your master's degree is not in economics, you cannot. So where did he can go? So obviously, this all problems, the system is getting evolved. We have to wait. That's the only thing I can say. But it is, we have to change it. Collectively, it is possible. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, definitely, sir. I hope no any queries, but we got this very awesome feedback. Like today's session is good and nice session, and the session is very good. And they want PPT, sir.
Yes,
So,
I'll be forwarding to you, ma'am. You can share to all the participants.
yeah,
I'll forward
yeah,
it to you.
definitely, sir. Whatever be the said by you, sir, this is exactly correct, because in India it is like if we can see in India, interdisciplinary research is like if you all belongs to interdisciplinary branch, means definitely you will not get job. That is the situation in India. In few states, it is compulsory that if you are a BTech, MTech, and PhD, and it should be mentioned on your degree, then only you will get the job. If it is electronics and communication, and if electronics only mentioned, you won't get job in particular universities. So
Yeah,
until and unless we will not go forward for interdisciplinary research or interdisciplinary education, definitely the system will not be better. And for it's yes,
one
yes.
more point, ma'am, for benefit of all of us. See, we should not look for a job and do a research. What is my interest? That is first part. The second part is there is a prize called as Nevelina Prize. It is Nevelina theory is totally mathematics, and the prize is constituted for economists. Last 4 years, it is given to computer scientists of University of Berkeley.
Okay.
So people should not worry about what is my job opportunity. Number one, I'm interested in this subject, therefore I'm studying. So job will come one place or other place. You're supposed to ready to move any place. During my BSc, I was looking for only mathematics. Mathematics. Unfortunately, there is no such. But I got mathematics, applied mathematics, and physics. I did that. So we have to look for our interest, not anything else. The guiding principle is supposed to be my interest is this subject, therefore I'm going to do. There is no need of title also. Even without PhD, writing a paper is, nobody says, do you have a PhD to write a paper? No. So you can start writing it slowly, people will recognize.
Yeah, definitely, sir. That's true. That once we will come in deep research, definitely we got very nice recognition. And regarding school education, also, like yeah, definitely some physical activities compulsory for school education, but it is really very bad seen in India. Like they're not at all classwork, and classwork. The day of kid is start from the inside the class, and just for a namesake, here the activity-based learning is not available, and we have to modify our few schools. Definitely, they have opted, but even they are bounded with the regulations.
Ma'am,
So
it is the problem with the parents as well as the school also. Who said schooling is required this kind of environment? We have NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling.
okay.
I recommend National Institute of Open Schooling than anything else. The simplest reason is 10th standard, many students are afraid of mathematics. Without mathematics, passing 10th standard is very tough. The last 2 years only CBSE allowed some kind of mathematics, light mathematics or heavy mathematics, A, B, something. But NIOS says you take 5 subjects, you are declared as pass in 10th. Not necessary. India also we have open models. The parents as well as we supposed to be educated. Why should we have my child has to go to that particular school?
Yes, definitely.
So that is we have to change that.
Yeah, definitely. This is the mentality of parents only. I can agree definitely, because
Not only
this is
parents,
the
because of the prevailing pressure, peer pressure, not only for the children, for us also. My colleague's
forest.
son is studying there, therefore I want to send. So it should not be the way.
And even this is a small example, like in this COVID-19, as a regular school is not going to start soon. So like they are conducting some online classes and all. And my kid, my own kid, he's 6 years old. He's in class first, and daily online classes was there. Then I spoke to principal and I said, ma'am, what is the requirement? Then she said, ma'am, you are only like you, few parents are there, those who don't want the classes. But we are getting pressures from rest of the parents to please start the online classes, even for nursery and PP1, PP2 also.
No, there are various reasons, ma'am, not only our side. So end of
Yes,
the day, they also make payments to faculty members.
yes, that's true.
Without class,
Yeah,
will you pay? So
no,
obviously
no,
they need, it is kind of some vicious cycle then
yes, yes,
just, so obviously they need some mechanism to engage the teachers so that they can pay. And the same way they can collect from the parents also. Without classes, how will pay? So obviously say, you're not connecting, why should I pay? So
yeah.
obviously this all big problems. We cannot address this in this group.
Yeah, actually, few parents said that no classes, no fees, so
That
they
is
are
all
also
possible.
scared. So, and yeah, sir, this is awesome interactive session. Thanks a lot. We take your so much time. Instead of 1 hour, it almost 2 hours, and
Oh,
you
thank
have
you.
patiently answered all the questions. Thanks a lot for your awesome patience. And definitely, I'll disturb you once again whenever college will reopen. I'll again organize one online seminar for our students. They want your guidance for interdisciplinary research. Uh, Thanks a lot from all the organizing committee and Shriti Institute as well for sparing your valuable time with us. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I too had a
Yes,
nice session. Yeah, thank you.
yes. So participants, with this, we are about to end our session. So tomorrow we have a valedictory, and we will start by 10 o'clock. From 10
Okay.
to 11, one session. Then from
Okay.
11 to 12, Dr. G.R. Sinha sir's session. Sir just taking tomorrow, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. Right. Yes.
Actually, his timing is from 10 o'clock, but because of some work, he said I'll be take by 11. So I
Yeah.
said, okay. So
We all of us are
tomorrow,
doing some online examination. Therefore, some kind of
yeah, he said
reshuffling is
that.
happening here. Yes.
Yes, so he said I'll take by 11 a.m. Then okay, I said okay, sir, we'll manage. So tomorrow we have a valedictory session with G.R. Sinha's lecture. So
Okay.
definitely by 12 o'clock we'll close.
Okay.
Thank you once again, sir, and all the participants. Sir, for giving the valuable time and participant for their patience.
Thank you from my side.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good day, sir. So participants, I'll share the feedback form. Again, I'm giving information regarding certificate that yes, we are evaluating the attendance. We are under the process of evaluating the attendance for giving the certificate, for issuing the certificate. So again, I have circulated the form. If you have filled already, please do not fill again. And if you have not filled, please fill, because from that only we will taking the data as I asked you to fill with the correct name. So please fill that form properly. And for tomorrow, we have 2 sessions along with valedictory, 10 to 11, and from 11, and by 12:30 we will close definitely. By 12:30, maximum 12:45 it will take. So tomorrow is a valedictory before 1. 10 to 11 one session, 11 to 12 another session, and 12 to 12:30 is the valedictory. So thanks a lot. Have a nice day.